Hi, friends. Today we are going to continue state the arresting fact. We're studying it. Let us study it further. Okay, organizing the longer talk. It is the subject today. Make your opening conversational in manner. An efficient way to discover whether you have an opener that is conversational is to try it out across the dinner table. If the way you open your talk isn't conversational enough to be spoken across the dinner table, it probably won't be conversational enough for an audience either. Frequently, however, the opening of the talk that is supposed to get the listener's interest is, in reality, the dullest part of the talk. For example, I recently heard a speaker begin like this: Trust in the Lord and have faith in your own ability. A preachy and obvious way to begin a talk. But note his second sentence. It is interesting. Okay? The second sentence is interesting. It has heart throb in it. My mother was left a widow in 1918 with three children to support and no money money is required everywhere, whether you are in US, whether you are in UK, whether you are in Japan, whether you are in Germany, everywhere money is required. Yes, why, oh why didn't that speaker begin? Yes, why didn't that speaker begin in his first sentence by telling about the struggles of his widowed mother with three little children to support? What a pathetic condition, isn't it? Yes, if you want to interest your listeners, don't begin with an introduction. Begin by leaping right into the heart of your story. That is what Frank Bedger does. That is what Frank Bedger does. Begin by leaping right into the heart of your story. A very important point. Okay, mark it down. That is what Frank Bedker does. He is the author of How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. Failure to Success in Selling. He is an artist when it comes to creating suspense in his first sentence. I know because he and I traveled together all over the United States, giving talks on selling under the under the auspices of United States Junior Chamber of Commerce. I always admired the superb way he opened his talk on enthusiasm. No preaching, no lecturing, no sermoning, no general statements. Frank Bedger leaped right into the heart of his subject. Enter into your subject directly. That is what is being told over here. Okay? Yes. And we see further in his first sentence, he began to talk on enthusiasm like this. Shortly after I started out as a professional baseball player, I got one of the biggest shocks of my life. What effect did this opening, what effect did this opening have on his audience? I know I was there. I saw the reaction. He had everyone's attention instantly. Everyone was eager to hear why and how he was shocked. and what he did about it. Okay? Ask for a show of hands. Ask for a show of hands. A splendid way to get interested attention is to ask the audience to raise their hands in answer to a question. Very important point. For example, I have opened my talk on how to prevent fatigue with this question. Let's see your hands. How many of you get tired more quickly than you feel you ought to? Raise your hands. We have to say like that. Okay? So we have to have the action program in our speech. Note this point. Let's see your hands. How many of you get tired more quickly than you feel you ought to? Note this point. When you ask for a show of hands, usually give the audience some warm warning that you are going to do so. Okay, friends? Do not open a talk with how many people here believe the income tax should be lowered. Okay, do not ask such questions. Let's see your hands. Give the audience a chance to be ready. Yes, for the vote by saying, for instance, I'm going to ask for a show of hands. Okay, on a question. How many of you believe that trading stamps benefit the consumer? The technique of asking for a show of hands gets a priceless reaction. Yes, known as audience participation. When you use it, your talk is no longer one sided affair. The audience is participating in it now. The audience is participating in it now. When you ask how many of you get tired more quickly than you feel you ought to, everyone starts thinking of his favorite topic himself, his aches, his fatigue. He lifts his hand and possibly looks around to see who else has his hand up. He forgets that he's listening to a talk. This should be the way of speaking. He smiles. Okay? He smiles. He nods to a friend sitting next to him. Okay? The ice is broken. You, the speaker, are at ease, and so is the audience. Always do it. See you again. Till then, bye. Thank you for joining in. Love you all. Take good care of yourself. We are going ahead with the public speaking topic. Tomorrow we're going to study further. Till then, take good care of yourself. Love you all. Bye bye. See you.